independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I want to move forward with this hearing.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, this is a violation of the rule, and if it was not intentional, I would not have a problem. I'm not saying it was intentional on your part. I'm saying it's intentional on his part, because Mr. Dean, last night on a cable news network, actually made it all very evident. John Dean, and I'll quote, holding your statement as long as you can so the other side can't chew it up is important as well, close quote. Mr. Chairman, when you were in the minority, you wouldn't have stood for it, and I can tell you that we should not stand for it as a body.
Man, Jordan and Mark Meadows are ready to roll today. I think Jordan had his sleeves rolled up like he's getting ready, like his ties kind of half pulled down. He's like, this is on. We're going to get this on. I sit here and I don't even know what to say. Is this who we are? I'm just curious. Like, is this who we are? Because this feels like I've learned absolutely nothing, right? And I see a person up there who's enjoying a bit of the spotlight. He walked in today with a smile on his face, right? He's enjoying a bit of the spotlight. He knows he's going to jail. So he's going to soak up his 15 minutes of fame. Are we learning anything today that's changing anybody's mind? Are you going, you know what? I didn't think any of those things about Trump, but I do now because that guy who lied before says it so. And just because you're a liar doesn't mean you're not telling the truth, but because of a liar means we're probably not believing anything you're saying. So there's that. But the squabbling started before Cohen ever got an opportunity to say a damn word, and they were still squabbling.
Chairman, I was asked to be recognized before the motion.
Voted, so in tabling the motion.
You know who had this material before all the members of the committee?
Excuse me.
CNN had it before we did. CNN had the exhibits before we did.
Yeah, well, the vote is on tabling the motion to postpone. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it.
And I appeal the ruling of the chair. Yes, I can assure you it's in the rules. I appeal the ruling of the chair.
Do the rules matter, Mr. Chairman?
Swear to God, they're in the rules. Look it up in the damn rule book. It's in the rule book. You know what's funny is I've talked to the congressmen and senators. Sometimes they'll go, it's in the rules. Like, I didn't know there was that rule. Did you know that was a rule? So many rules. But what do we have? What do we have? Do we have a smoking gun? Do we have it? Well, first of all, we have to get him under oath.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that the witness answered in the affirmative.
He's like, it's my truth. Is it the truth? Somebody may say it's not the truth, but it's my truth, and that really is all that matters, is it's my truth. Such an absolute bizarre situation. Remember, this is the guy.
I will use my legal skills within which to protect Mr. Trump to the best of my ability. I protect Mr. Trump.
I'll do anything to protect Mr. Trump. I'm obviously very loyal and very dedicated to Mr. Trump.
So that's that guy, right? So that's that guy. He'll do anything to protect the Trumpster. Anything at all. Anything at all to protect the Trump. Anything. So there are so many things that we could do, right? He comes out, does his usual things, talk about what he is, what he isn't, how much he loves his kids, and blah, 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 blah. So rather than do it the normal way, let's play a little Michael Cohen roulette. Meaning we're just going to pick from random clips of things that he said today and we'll react to them. All righty.
Questions have been raised about whether I know of direct evidence that Mr. Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia. I do not.
That's where it needs to end. Right? Because this right here.
But I have my suspicions.
Means.
Means
nothing.
Michael. But
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You don't have any of that information. That's how all this stuff started, right? But no, don't care.
But I have my...
Shh. You need to... Shh. 1, 2, shh. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that you have your suspicions. It means nothing at all. The minute you hear this...
Questions have been raised about whether I know of direct evidence that Mr. Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia. I do not.
Then we're done. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful life. Have fun in prison. Right? Have fun in prison. How do you... Again, he's a liar. Right? Now, he said, well, they told me to lie because they looked at my stuff and they said, no, you're going to change all this stuff. And then, which is a crime in itself, to get somebody to perjure, but I look at this today and I think I'm not finding out anything new. Do I think, people say, well, what do you think of Trump? Do you think he's an evil, horrible human being? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the guy. I'm sure for some people he's an evil, horrible human being. For other people, I'm sure he's a damn good human being. For some people who's worked with him, I'm sure he's a horrible person to work for or work against. And for some people that work for him, they probably love him. Do I think he's a racist? I hear these things all the time, but there's never any of that proof. That smoking gun, right? We've heard about all those. There's a smoking gun. There's a thing out there. You just don't understand. You just don't get it. You don't understand. I haven't heard any of that stuff, right? Do I think he is?
Mr. Trump is a cheat.
Probably cheated at some stuff. Not going to lie to you there. Do I think that he's probably cheated at several things? Yeah, probably. As a business person that size in New York City and elsewhere, do I think that he has done something that, quite frankly, is wrong? Oh, sure. I'm not going to lie to you there. I'm not going to lie to you at all. I think he's definitely done some of those things. Do I think he is?
He is a racist.
Do I think he probably has biases? Yes, as every human being does. Do I think he goes to the point where he sits around at night and he puts on his hood and he thinks to himself, man, if only we get everybody to burn crosses? No, I do not. No, I do not. There's just a lot of stuff. And I sit here and, you hear him talk about this.
I recognize that some of you may doubt and attack me on my credibility.
Which we all have a right to based on past performance.
It is for this reason that I have incorporated into this opening statement documents that are irrefutable.
Okay. So you brought in checks, right? So here's all these checks. In the memo, does it say to pay off Stormy Daniels or anybody else? It does not say any of those things, right? You were his attorney, so over the 10 years, by the way, Jim Jordan said it best. Wasn't 10 minutes, wasn't 10 weeks, wasn't 10 months. It was 10 years that you worked with him. I love Lindsey Graham.
I don't know how many payments Trump has made to women in the past, but I think this is not the first time he's done this.
No, it's not. And, I don't even know if it'll be the last. But I will tell you this. You know what he is when I see him up there? He's a weasel. He's a liar. He's all those things. You know what he is? He's a person who never thought of himself as anything more than a hanger-on. He is a hanger-on that was willing to do anything to get a piece of that pie. He wanted to be somebody. He wanted to be a part of something. He wanted to be inside the cool kids. He was never any of those things. And Donald Trump gave him that opportunity. And Donald Trump saw in him a guy that is exactly what he is, a weasel and a rat, because Donald Trump needed a weasel and a rat in particular to deal with personal issues. But he talked about what it's like to be around Trump.
Being around Mr. Trump was intoxicating when you were in his presence. You felt like you were involved in something greater than yourself, that you were somehow changing the world.
No. You liked being a part of it because it was cool. It was private jets. It was weekends at Mar-a-Lago. It was a party of parties. You got to do the cool stuff. That's what that was. That's what that is. That's all of that stuff. And we've talked about it before. All those kind of things are totally intoxicating. And this is a guy who always wanted that. I can guarantee he was picked last for sports teams, didn't have a lot of friends, thought he was way cooler than he was. And the opportunity was there with Trump. And Trump saw a guy that was weak, that was willing to do anything in any of the bidding, in particular, again, with the personal stuff. But just because he's lied before doesn't mean he's lying today. Do I believe a lot of what he's saying is true about, Trump's inflating his net worth or deflating his net worth? He's doing several of these things to make himself look worse or better. Absolutely, I believe in that stuff. But today's not about getting to the bottom of something to uncover. Today's about, hey, can we do a public hit job on the president? Oh, by the way, today or later on tonight, he's got to meet with that guy over there in North Korea, right? Because, he's got some stuff to do. In particular, try to get that guy from blowing up the peninsula. Oh, yeah. I never thought of that. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Throughout the day, we'll be playing Michael Cohen Roulette, where we're just going to pick a random clip based on the roulette wheel, and we'll find out what he says, and we'll react to it, because there's just so much of it. There is. This portion of the Chad Benson Show and the Michael Cohen here is brought to you by Blink Home Security, which is what he's going to need because he will not have the opportunity to be at home. Chad, you're so mean. What is Blink? Well, first of all, it's amazing. I last night we'd set up. We've got ones for lizards, so that I check in the lizards and garage because it's got this live feed option with Blink, and these cameras are incredible. They got these new amazing camera systems, the Outdoor XT. So we got them outdoor. It is awesome. And you want to know if somebody's stalking your house, not when they're inside, because by then they're inside and it's too late. You want to know if your package is delivered, that, hey, I see it there. Maybe you call a neighbor and say, hey, the package has been delivered. Can you go get that for us? Little things like that are just so incredible. And Blink is absolutely amazing. I got my son and his mother, ordered them some for their house because they had an issue down the street just about a week or so ago. I want to make sure that the things that I care about are taken care of, protected, and watched over. That's what Blink does for me. I recommend the Blink motion-activated indoor and outdoor cameras. They're wire-free, set up in minutes. 2 AA batteries. That's it. They'll run for up to 2 years. Right now, Blink Outdoor XT camera systems are an impressive 20% off. But you got to hurry. Sale ends March 16th at midnight Eastern. Visit blinkprotect.com/sale. 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 Blink is an Amazon company. And guess what, kids? It works with Alexa. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
I think this is very successful. Great relationship. I think they're going to be very successful. We look forward to it. We both do. Have you walked back at all in North Korea? No. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Trump. Keep saying it. He's having a better time hanging out with a despot that is Kim Jong-un, the Un, uno momento, than he is with what's going on here. A man who puts people to death using things like anti-aircraft guns and flamethrowers and wild dogs, and, he's having a better time there having surf and turf than what took place today. And let's remember, let's take everything away for just a second, if you can, because a lot of people can't. Let's just try to, we'll just put this over here in this room. We're going to shut the door for a second. Tonight is very important because it's going to be early. It's already early in Hanoi, and they're going to be getting up. They're going to go through a day of lunches and meetings, and then they're going to break off and probably have a meeting with just Kim Jong-un and President Trump and the two translators. This is a big situation here. This is. And we're going to have to give probably more than we're going to get, but we have to see some movement in this. But when he comes back out later on and he sits there, he stands next to Kim Jong-un and they ask questions, none of the questions are going to be about like, hey, did he give up his nuclear weapons? Because nobody cares about that. Nobody's going to care about anything that they have to say, because the reality is, in the world of salaciousness, that's not important as what took place today. That's the reality of it. I do like what Trump said today about North Korea and how I think we defeat not just North Korea and these despot nations that are just these leaders that are hidden behind these walls, if you will, that they've put up there because they want to keep their hermit crab-like culture where they just hide inside their shells and they don't let anything near them and they peek out once in a while. No. They really, really, really don't want to hear what Trump has to say here, and I'll tell you why. It's the same thing with ISIS. You do this, just like you're doing what we're going to do with Venezuela, and we're slowly doing with Cuba and everything else. He talks about economics.
I think that your country has tremendous economic potential, unbelievable, unlimited. And I think that you will have a tremendous future with your country, a great leader. And I look forward to watching it happen and helping it to happen.
Yeah. What, Chad? I'll tell you what. When you have economic freedom and it starts to slowly seep into the culture, what you'll start to find is those freedoms will start to strengthen because the people will want it and the government will have a harder time taking stuff away than just always stomping down on them. And that's how things start to slowly erode. And eventually what ends up happening is that's when the other freedoms and democracy slowly gets in there. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. He's never giving up those nukes. No chance. Why would he? He's hanging out with the president. The world's watching outside of what took place today. He's at the big boys table. Why would you give that up? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You're a pathological liar. You don't know truth from falsehood.
What? Sir, I'm sorry. Are you referring to me or the president?
Hey, this is my time.
Are you referring to me, sir, or the president?
When I ask you a question, yes, I'll ask for an answer.
Sure.
Oh, Paul Gosar today. You just shake your head and you're like, well done. That's. First of all, if you're going to yell and you're going to just go into something like, this is my time. Do you even know who I am? If you're going to do that, you got to get it right. You can't, it doesn't work. It's like, oh, wait, you've lost you've lost any chance of me to pay any attention to you because you've. But it shows you today, right? Like how much of this was, and it is, like, it doesn't matter if the Republicans bring somebody up that they want to do something so they can expose something they feel that they need to be exposed. What they're going to do is they're going to hail them as a hero. They're going to throw up softballs. And that's exactly today what happened with the Democrats, right? They brought people up. I mean, their people asked questions to him that were softball-like, and he would knock it out the park. Right? And they're like, ha-ha. And the Republicans came and cross-examined him like it was an episode of like Bull or something, whatever those shows are, Law and Order. It was theatrics. It was theatrics. Absolutely.
Would you agree that someone could deny rental units to African Americans, lead the birther movement, refer to the diaspora as whole countries, and refer to white supremacists as fine people, have a black friend, and still be racist?
Yes.
I agree.
There you go. Well, of course you do. You don't like him. So what we're doing today and having a little bit of fun with this on top of all of this craziness is we've got ourselves a little something we call The Michael Cohen roulette wheel. We're going to be spinning it, and wherever it lands, we'll play a little something from him. He is an interesting character, to say the least. I think we all understand that. So let's roll this wheel and see what we come up with. Oh my Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, here you go.
That I'm sorry for everything, and I'm sorry for the pain that I've caused them. And I wish I can go back in time.
Michael Cohen there. Just turning on the waterworks. Remember, this is 10 years. No matter what he says, this is 10 years he spent with Trump. 10 years. Somebody said earlier, what does being picked last for a team have to do with anything? Because he's a hanger-on, right? He's a wannabe. He craved. You can tell those people that always want to be something else. They're being an attorney or a divorce lawyer or a DA or what, it was just never. He wanted more. He even said it's intoxicating. You're going to be around, flying the private jets, get to go places, get to do all kinds of. You get to do all of these things. You're brought into an inner circle. And I said, it's like the movie Blade, right? They're familiars, right? They're people who want to be vampires, so they do the bidding of the vampire in hopes that one day that will rub off and they'll be able to be a vampire themselves. That's he was hoping and praying. That's what he wanted, because he probably craved that his whole life. 10 years. 10 years he did the bidding. 10 years he did stuff for Trump. 10 years he did things. Jim Jordan said, 10 days, 10 weeks, maybe even give you 10 months. At some point in time, 10 years, it's on you. That's on you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. This is very interesting. This is, I want everybody to listen to this, because maybe this is you, and your spouse may find out one day, and whoa.
Do you have a secret stash of cash? Maybe you're hiding a bank account or credit card from your significant other. If you do, you are not alone.
Yes. Do you have a secret stash of cash? Are you somebody who's got a few bucks out there that you haven't told? Now, some people have their own money. You know, I mean, nowadays everybody wants to have their own money. They're doing their own thing. They don't want to join anymore. It's not like it used to be. And sometimes maybe you're trying to save up and you're trying to do some other things and you're putting money aside. You want to surprise somebody. But they're not really talking about that. What they're talking about is, do you have this is the world I'm living in, but over here I've got this as a just in case, or maybe you don't know about this, and if you did, you might not be happy.
According to creditcards.com, nearly 30 million people in live-in relationships are committing financial infidelity. So, who's the biggest cheater? According to the report, millennials are more likely than any other age group to lie about their spending, debt, and accounts. 28% of them admitted to hiding an account from their partner.
And there's a difference between setting up some, I got money over here I'm not telling you about, right? And having debt. Have you ever met somebody and you're dating them and you find out they're like $200,000 in debt and you're like, whoa, and they're not $200,000 in debt because they went to law school or medical school and you're like, well, that's no big deal. They're $200,000. They got something for it. They're $200,000 in debt because they got 5,000 credit cards and they can't stop spending. And you're like, whoa, that is crazy. And let's be real. Millennials are coming out of school anyways in debt. And one of the debts that we rarely talk about when it comes to millennials is we talk about how much it is to go to school, right? So they go to school and it's costing, anywhere between $50,000 and say $150,000 to get their college degree. But along the way on campuses, MasterCard and Visa and everybody else is handing out credit cards to these kids because they know one day these kids are going to have a degree and they're going to be making money. And so let's give them a card. And next thing you know, they're racking up money on top of that. That's the debt they're talking about here.
So why do they keep money secrets? Researchers say people have a desire to have a freedom fund or safety net in case the relationship turned sour. But all that cheating can put a strain on relationships. According to the report, 20% of people surveyed say having a secret account is worse than having an affair. And 2% of those surveyed would break up with someone if they discovered they had $5,000 in credit card debt. But there is some good news. The survey also found most people forgive and would not end a relationship over money secrets.
It depends, right? Like, there's got to be a threshold. Like, you're $5,000 net, you're like, you're $10,000 net, You find out, like, wait a minute here, you're $200,000 in net, and you have a $60,000 loan for school. That's a different, like, that's life pressure right there. And here's the other thing. Are you coming into it with that debt? Or did you rack that up? And that's the, because if you're racking up, that's where the infidelity of finances goes. Because if you're coming into a relationship and you've got some debt and they know about it, that's one thing. But if in the middle of a relationship you rack up a ton of debt that they don't know about, that they're going to be on the hook for, whoa, that's not good. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. Love hearing from each and every one of you. We are playing a game of fun here. It is called the Michael Cohen. You know, when he dies in prison on accident. Chad, stop saying that. I'm just saying. Like, I will say, you got to have some cojones to go up there and talk about the President of the United States in the way that you've talked about him. You've got to have some cojones. You do. To do that, if you think about it. And then you're going to go to prison, and as we all know, ask Whitey Bulger, would he die like 5 minutes after he arrived at his new prison? Yeah, you just, I'm just saying, should something happen? I don't know, he fell. He was stabbed 18 times. Well, he was trying to get up and got slippery, and there was blood, and he just kept falling. Chad. Let's play Michael Cohen Roulette.
Ooh. Mr. Trump is a con man. He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair and to lie about it to his wife.
Two things here. That's awful. So three things. That's awful, right? That's awful. She's not a star. She's not. She was an actress. She was not a star. Jenna Jameson is a star if you're going to look at adult film actresses. Like, she was a star. You're like, I know who she is, right? Before Trump, nobody knew who this lady was, except some really creepy people. Chad. She came out today and said he was brave. You're brave. You're a brave person, Michael Cohen. You are brave. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. All the while this is happening, Trump is across the globe getting ready to sit down and talk to Kim Jong-un as they try to figure out how they can get rid of some sort of nuclear weapons. And I don't think that they're going to be able to get rid of nuclear weapons the way that people think. But it is going to be very interesting to see the way that this thing shakes itself out, because there's got to be some give and take. And remember, this guy, it's not just the weapons, because he gets to hang out in the big boys' room and table, and he gets to sit there, and he gets these kind of days where the world is looking at them. The reality is it's also about their survival and their existence. Because he's looked around at the past and said, yeah, I'm not getting rid of these.
They would not get any of this without their nuclear weapons. This is their meal ticket. This is why people pay attention to them. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. This is why we've got this on television this morning. So I think this whole talk about denuclearization is really so much talk. There is, I believe, zero chance that North Korea will go down that path, given what they saw happen to Ukraine when they gave up its nuclear weapons, what happened to Gaddafi, what happened to Saddam.
Yeah. Don't give up your stuff. Don't. And if I'm South Korea, I'm like, do I really? Because if they gave up those, China may gobble them up fast. The next thing you know, China's on our doorstep. I don't know if I want that, but I don't want the madman. So what is it? And what do we get? Right? We're going to give them we're going to loosen the sanction belt there a little bit, and we're going to allow them to have a little bit more. So what is it that we're going to get? It's going to stop trying to figure out how to build long-range missiles that could reach the American shores. I mean, there's got to be some other stuff. It can't just be, well, we'll have another one of these and we'll move a little bit closer. There needs to be some concrete things happening. And I don't know if that's going to be this time or not, but I will say this. We can't keep doing this over and over again and not getting anything. And now is the time to strike. It is. But if you're Kim Jong-un today and you're sitting there, you're thinking to yourself, okay, so wait a minute here. Let's just say for the sake of argument, because I'm watching also what you're watching over there with Michael Cohen and the Democrats, all 9 yards. I saw what happened with Iran and how you got out of that deal and you said, no, what if we get into a deal and then somebody comes in and boom. That's why today in this entire situation, I thought, we should have held back a few days on this at least. But I'm wary about that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. 2019 is incredible so far for me. I hope it is for you. I'm sleeping better than I have slept in forever. And I tell you what, I am traveling a lot. I've got my MyPillow Go Anywhere pillow. And I'm going a lot of places, not just anywhere. And it is a helper. The other night I slept on a mattress that realistically was, to say it was awful would be kind to that mattress. It was beyond. It was horrible. I still passed out and slept amazingly well. You know why? MyPillow. MyPillow is great. 100% machine washable, dryable, made in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. You've got nothing to lose right now. They got a money-back guarantee till March. Now is your chance today. Jump on this. 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, half the price, free shipping. And again, a money-back guarantee. Now, jump on this deal. You have nothing to lose. Put your skepticism to the test. Call 800-944-4975 or go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Benson. 800-944-4975 or mypillow.com. Promo code Benson. Remember, 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, half the price, free shipping. mypillow.com. Promo code Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
There are definitely going to be, I would think, some anecdotes about Donald Trump, the businessman, which are going to be embarrassing for him. The question's going to be, do they have illegality?
Yes, that's the question. Today was more about, first of all, somebody said, well, it was a character assassination. I'm like, that character has been assassinated that thing is so dead, you'd have to bring it back to life to assassinate it. Let's be real. Michael Cohen didn't tell us today anything that we either already didn't know or didn't think. Was anybody really shocked and like, oh my God, I never thought of it? No, nobody was. Well, he wrote checks. How many checks do you think Michael Cohen, over the 10 years they were together, right? Right. He didn't give him gift cards like, here's something to Target, and here's one of those American Express gift cards. No, he didn't. He gave him checks over the years. So that right there wasn't anything written in the memo that says for the porn star, adult actress. I'm sorry, I said porn stars, my bad. It wasn't any of that stuff. So what was it? Well, it's campaign finance. Can you prove it, though, without a reasonable doubt? People are like, do you believe it? I'm like, it's not whether I believe it. It's whether or not you can prove it. Do you believe that OJ participated in some way, shape, or form in the slaying of 2 individuals? Do you believe that? But could they prove it? Do I believe that Trump has done stuff in the past that it proved normal people to find completely unscrupulous? Absolutely. But can you prove that? And any good law student will tell you he is not the witness that's going to get it done for you. He will get destroyed on the stand. You saw that today. You did. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. We are playing an amazingly fun game that we all like here. It's called the Michael Cohen Roulette Wheel. We spin the wheel. Wherever it lands, we play that there soundbite.
I am providing a copy of a $35,000 check that President Trump personally signed from his personal bank account on August 1st of 2017, when he was president of the United States.
But you said that you were his personal attorney still, so, and that's all that you ever wanted to be. You didn't want to work in the House. You didn't want to do any of those kind of things in the White House. So just curious about that. Could it not be for a retainer? Oh, no, it's not for a retainer. Can you prove that it's not for a retainer? 110%. Can you prove that? See, that's all you need is that shadow of a doubt. Like, I don't know, because he paid him about, over a 10-year period. Let's say he gave him 150 checks. Can you prove all of them were for nefarious reasons? There's the problem right there. Can you prove it? Doesn't mean, well, I think so. Can you prove it? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Kim Trump sitting down tonight. Not Lil Kim or Kim Kardashian, but a different kind of Lil Kim. The one with the nuclear weapon. To see if we can get rid of some of those nuclear weapons. Not all, maybe a few. Maybe take away a few other things. And then we'll give him something. Who knows? Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Given my experience working for Mr. Trump, I fear that if he loses the election in 2020, that there will never be a peaceful transition of power.
Oh, my God. That is insane. How? What do you think is going to happen when people say that? If we don't do this, the whole world's going to come to an end. I hear that, right? So there's Michael Cohen today. I fear that knowing what I know about him, that he's going to stay there. He's going to order the army to do anything. He's going to order the military. Military, do what I say. And they're going to go, okay, cool. No, they're not. They're not. That's just nuts. That is crazy. Look, do I think that Trump has done some stuff? Absolutely, I do. Not going to pretend that he hasn't done some things that are, well, quite frankly, they're not good. They're not. They're not good. But do I think that Trump is going to go Maduro or he's going to go Tiananmen Square? I do not. I do not. And if you believe that, that's insane too. Right? You never hear. It's like all those people that, Obama's a secret Muslim and we're going to all be in Sharia law and they're taking all our guns away. And I'm like, okay. And then years later, it's like people bought more guns. The greatest gun salesman in the history of gun salesmen, the greatest membership driver in the history of membership drivers was Barack Obama. Still have your guns. We're not under Sharia law. And to think that Michael Cohen's up there and going, not going to be peaceful. It's not. It's not. Knowing what I know. Okay. So this was not supposed to be, talked about today, really. They were supposed to skirt the issue here and there when it comes to Russia because they're having those. Yesterday they had meetings behind closed door. Tomorrow they're going to do the same thing with Cohen. Today was mostly about the salaciousness of all. It was really more about the people that were able to get out there and ask the questions and have their 5 minutes of say and argue with one another. But the question of collusion came up. Remember, all of these things came about because of collusion. All of this collusion. this weird word that's the gray area. So all of this came about. Remember, this guy knows everything about everything about everything about everything about everything. He was the inner workings. He was the puppet master when it came to all of the other stuff. So when asked about that their word,
questions have been raised about whether I know of direct evidence that Mr. Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia. I do not. And I want to be clear.
So that's it. I don't need you to answer anymore.
But I have
no.
But I have
no.
But I have. But I have.
Stop.
But I
don't.
But I
don't make me.
But
I'm just saying.
But I have my suspicions.
You're done. Suspicions don't count. That doesn't count in this. I have my suspicions. I have my hunch. That doesn't count. That does not count. I know you want it to count. I know you think, oh, this is going to... It doesn't count. It doesn't. Does not count. Does it count? Nope. That's what a lot of people want to know. That's it. It was a day that wasn't pretty for the president at all. Chris Christie talked about that.
Someone needs to defend the president of the United States here. He's being accused of crimes by a guy who seemingly has inside knowledge of it. But there is an explanation for this, and no one's defending the president. That means either the House did not consult with the White House at all in crafting this strategy, or they did and the White House dropped the ball.
Everybody kind of knew what we were getting today. Were you surprised? I'd love to hear from you. You can text this is the text line, by the way. 323-538-2423. Come straight to me, 323-538-CHAD, C-H-A-D. Come straight to me. Were you surprised at all? You can tweet at me as well, at Chad Benson Show. I mean, did you learn anything? Are you going to go to bed tonight and think about it and then wake up in the morning and go, I've got a completely different... No, nothing was learned today. Some more salaciousness, yeah. It was a little bit of grandstanding for him. He didn't seem to be too bothered by a lot of this stuff. And on the other side of things, everybody got their grandstand moment where they got to argue and fight. I mean, the arguing and fighting started early, right? It did. And they just argued and it was, I just sat there and I shook my head. I mean, it was like before they kicked off any of this stuff, before they even said, Cohen, will you raise your hand? And again, we're going to try this. You've got to tell the truth under oath. That's what this means. They were arguing about it.
I want to move forward with this hearing.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, this is a violation of the rule. And if it was not intentional, I would not have a problem. I'm not saying it was intentional on your part. I'm saying it's intentional on his part, because Mr. Dean last night on a cable news network actually made it all very evident. John Dean, and I'll quote, holding your statement as long as you can so the other side can't chew it up is important as well, close quote. Mr. Chairman, when you were in the minority, you wouldn't have stood for it. And I can tell you that we should not stand for it as a body.
Yeah. What he was talking about is the fact that CNN, MSNBC, The Post, New York Times all had all of this stuff, and the Republicans didn't, because it's here, I'm submitting you, this is all the opening things and the things that I'm going to say, and here's the stuff we're going to talk about. And so that way they can get out in front of it, and they didn't have that, and they said, no, that's not the way this is supposed to work. But it got ugly, and that's what this was. Was it a character assassination of the president? No. You kind of know who he is, right? You already have your understanding of who this guy is. You know exactly what this is about. So, was it a character assassination? No, I don't think so. Was some of it hard to hear? Yeah, if you're a Trump fan, if you're a Trump believer, yeah. If you're somebody who can't stand Trump, it probably made you seethe even more and say, look. But the reality is what you thought earlier this morning about Trump is what you think about Trump now. And I don't think that's changing in any way, shape, or form. And what will come of this, I don't know, because later on, and just, if over the next several hours, Trump is sitting down and talking with the Kimster about what's going on in North Korea and what they can do to accelerate what's happening bring them into a semi-modern world. And we're not even talking about we're not even talking about modern. We're like, look, we'd like to bring in where the Amish are at least. I mean, we're okay with that. Like the 1800s, we're good, right? And oh, by the way, is there any way you can give up some of your nuclear capabilities and you're wanting to get long-range missiles that can hit the shores of the United States? Yeah, that's happening today. Far more important than I think what took place today, which was more or less a dog and pony show.
It's great to be with you. We had a very successful first summit. I felt it was very successful. And some people would like to see it go quicker. I'm satisfied. You're satisfied.
Yeah. So what ends up happening tonight is anybody's guess, because Trump did get him to eat, though. Kim is terrified, apparently, of eating. You wouldn't know it. Right, like you're like, really? Because it looks like he's nutritionally overachieving. I know that. I get it. But he's worried about being poisoned, and I guess he had some surf and turf today, and he was okay with it. He's like, this is pretty good. I have some of this at the house. Nobody else has any of this, but I have this. They're going to have meetings with groups of people. Then they'll break off and have other meetings. Then they're going to apparently spend some time alone with just translators. We'll see how it goes. Trump is we're going to give up a lot more than we're going to get, but we need to see some sort of movement. I liked what Trump said today about some of that movement and what he thinks North Korea can become. And this is the backdoor way of destroying any kind of dictatorship, any of this wackiness that's out there when it comes to, I don't care if it's in the Middle East, or I don't care if it's in South America right now, because we've already seen what it was like when they had capitalism, and we've seen what it was like with Venezuela, or in a place like even China, where they realized they couldn't continue to go on, so they needed to have economic power and growth, because otherwise it was going to crumble.
I think that your country has tremendous economic potential, unbelievable, unlimited. And I think that you will have a tremendous future with your country, a great leader. And I look forward to watching it happen and helping it to happen.
Here's something. What if Trump comes back and over the next 6 months, right, till the end of the year, they eliminate a good portion of their stuff? They're never giving up those weapons. Understand, they are never giving up those weapons ever, 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 ever. We're talking about him for several reasons. He's got those weapons. It makes him a player in the game. It gives him a seat at the table. The eyes of the world at times can be on him. He could throw a fit, but it also keeps his country, his regime in existence. But if we can get them to downsize, to talk about how many weapons they actually have, to be more transparent and to bring us in certain situations, and then for us to release some sanctions and allow us to start to slowly but surely introduce certain economic things into them, I think that would be huge. We may give more than we're going to get, but there's got to be some movement. There has to be. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Tell us what you think about Cohen. Do you feel any different today? Honestly, are you thinking to yourself, well, everything's changed? I don't think anything has changed. I think if you believe, Cohen before and you hated Trump, then you're buying into this 110%. And I said, there's no doubt in my mind, a lot of what he said today was true. Hell, the first time he lied under oath, a lot of what he said was true. But then he also lied about other things. And let's remember, his biggest crimes had zero to do with Trump. And he clarified that today. Well, Jim Jordan made him clarify. Had it all to do with him and him skipping $1.5 million of taxes, which he said he paid back. So good on you for that. But has anything changed in your mind? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
Right now, like most states, the blood alcohol limit in California is 0.08%. Anything over that is a DUI. Only Utah has a lower level. Now, California lawmakers are considering a bill that would match Utah, lowering the blood alcohol limit for a DUI to 0.05%. Those who support the bill say the current level is too high and leaves drivers impaired.
It's the thing that you can easily avoid when it comes to doing something criminal and stupid. But 0.5, I mean, that's like a drink and a half for a regular person, if that. And whenever there's an accident, whenever there's a wreck, rarely is it somebody at like 0.08 or 0.9. I mean, every once in a while. But when there's something gnarly and horrific that happens, it's like 2.4. And you're just like, what? It's like 55,000. The person should be dead. My God. And they don't even know they've been in a wreck. And this is, it feels like, California, the money grab. And I'm a person that we hammer this all the time, right? We got Memorial Day coming up in a couple months, and we're going to hammer the hell out of this. Why? Because people are going to go out and get arrested. They're going to drive drunk. They're going to do stupid things. And there's no reason to ever do that. We have Uber. We have Lyft. We have everything at our disposal to get you from point A to point B after you've drunk enough alcohol that you know that you're impaired or maybe you're close to it. But 0.5? And I don't drink. I've never had a drink in my life. I never had a drink in my life. But I look at this and I feel with California, like, and this just, it's, I don't know. It feels money grabbish to me from California. Not a shocker. We are playing Michael Cohen roulette. We've got the roulette wheel here. We spin the roulette wheel. And wherever it lands, we play something that he said today or something that somebody said about him or to him on the Hill today. Let's play it and see where it lands. Ooh.
I've defended you
Mr. Meadows,
with false accusations.
Mr. Meadows, I'm the chair.
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you. Right. I will clear this up.
Calm down. Calm down. There was some fireworks. Mark Meadows, right? Jim Jordan, Elijah Cummings. They went at it on a few occasions today. A few occasions. They were not happy with one another and the way that this whole thing went down. So it'll be very, I think it was Jim Jordan or it was Mark Meadows. One of the two said, Elijah, you do realize that this is the first of the 116th Congress. This is the first hearings we're going to have. And this entire thing will always be known as this moment in time. This is it. And you could almost see Elijah Cummings like, God, because he knows, right? And it was, you just sit there and you shake your head because I think we're better than this. And I think when we look back on this, in 10, 15, 20 years, we'll say we should have handled that better. This was not a pretty move. I've been saying it all day. We jumped the shark. We went Fonzie. We jumped the shark from Happy Days. Happy Days with its highest ratings ever. And it jumped the shark because Fonzie, Arthur Fonzarelli, the 70-year-old man who lived above the Cunningham's garage but was the coolest guy in Milwaukee, apparently was an amazing water skier and could jump a great white shark. After that, it crashed. And I think I felt a bit of that today. I felt a little tear. I looked up and Statue of Liberty had a little bit of tear, just a little tear. Like Iron Eyes Cody when they littered. Just a tear. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. What do you hear what Cory Booker said about America and what the Dems need to do to win back America, which is a different position than what somebody like Bill Maher said yesterday. You can text the program. Always check us out at TuneIn Radio app. Go to thechadshow.com. Find out all the cool things about us and what's going on. Like us on Facebook and see our live feed show parts that we do throughout the day as well. 'Tis Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You believe this is a historic moment?
Unequivocally, it kind of gives me a chill when I think I'm old enough, unfortunately, to have been there when John Dean testified before Congress, when Alexander Butterfield revealed that Nixon was doing tapes, and this is that moment.
Potentially. I mean, we don't know exactly what Michael Cohen's going to say, but from what you know of Michael Cohen, he had access to a lot of information about.
Yeah.
Historic? Yeah, I think we'll look back and go, wow, this is when we as America, when it comes to our politics, really jumped the shark. And if you don't know what jump the shark is, it is a phrase used in Hollywood that everybody else throws around. And a lot of times I think people throw stuff around. They don't know what it really means. Happy Days was at the height of its fame and strength as a television show during the episode when they went from Milwaukee to California and were out there in Hollywood, and Fonzie in his leather jacket, being from Milwaukee, water skied and jumped the shark. And ever since then, it was the turning point of its dominance, and away it went. I think that's what we're going to look back on. Well, we did jump the shark here, didn't we? Because I think a lot of that is what's happening. But there he is, testifying throughout the day, right? He's getting the fact that Debbie Wasserman Schultz asked him a question and then even question, this is about America and it's democracy. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the same woman who oversaw the screwing of Bernie Sanders, and you're going to sit there and talk about this? Give me a break. Now let's get back to the roulette of Cohen. We roll the little roulette ball there. We spin the wheel and we find out what he said. All righty.
He never expected to win the primary. He never expected to win the general election. The campaign for him was always a marketing opportunity.
Yeah. He talked about that. He said, this is going to be the greatest infomercial of all time. Every radio host, every television pundit, every person who writes an article, every human being that's had a thought, at some point in time has said to themselves, I wonder how serious Trump was about this. Even Trump said, I thought I'd be out after a while and I'd throw my support behind Chris Christie and we'd move on with ourselves. He looked at this as a great opportunity to build his brand. What started to happen is he built up momentum, and then he realized he was dusting aside all of the favorites. And then he got into a situation where his brand was starting to be tarnished. But I think he thought, I got a shot at this. And lo and behold, guess what happened? Boom. He became president of the United States. But how serious was he coming down those escalators at Trump Plaza? I think we could always debate whether or not he thought this is what he wanted to do. Hell, we could probably even go back and say, given everything that he knows now, would he do it again? And I don't know if he would, but I do know this. He is president of the United States. Now, they did ask him a question about, just him in general, and they've asked him all kinds of questions, and he's thrown some stuff out about Trump.
He is both good and bad, as do we all. But the bad far outweighs the good. And since taking office, he has become the worst version of himself.
I don't know. First of all, you're not there anymore, right? And you saw all this for years. We didn't see this because Trump was in New York doing Trump things, and you saw him. Part of the fun of the television show, right? The Apprentice is what? The way he fired and hammered people. It was supposed to be ruthless. You saw that in real life for years. This couldn't be a surprise to you. Like, oh, I didn't know he was like this. You knew it. You absolutely 110% knew it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. They're excited. I think they think they've got something here. I think they think this is it. They're going to catch him. It's over. It's done. And remember how this started? Like, okay, this is about collusion. Did he collude with Russia? Michael Cohen, who they're hoping and they're pinning everything onto, they're not really saying this is about Russia. He's like, I couldn't really tell you if there was collusion or not. So I don't know. So now it's so many other things that it potentially could be.
The events associated with Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal and attempting to obscure the fact that he was shutting them up so that they would not impact his campaign. All of that coming together, I believe, it's a high crime and misdemeanor. It is what the Congress at the time thinks is a high crime and misdemeanor.
But are you really going to prove it? Probably not. And you're also listening to somebody who is what? Who is absolutely a liar.
The Post Fact Checker database found that the president averaged more than 15 erroneous claims a day during 2018. Now, keep it honest, there is no doubt Michael Cohen has lied and lied a lot. He lied while working for Donald Trump for his company. He lied on TV promoting Trump's campaign, and he lied under oath to Congress. He's a convicted felon. The difference between him and President Trump is that Cohen has admitted to lying. The president has not.
Yeah. So, and Trump does. For those of you out there who think Trump's that walks this earth and he doesn't lie, the guy is full of it all the time. He says stuff all the time. He's full of crap all the time. Is it stuff that hurts us? No. Is it all too often stuff that's ridiculous? Yes, like I caught a fish. What kind of fish? It was a great white shark. It was a bluegill. You did catch a fish. Why did you say it was a great white shark? You didn't need to lie. Those are the things that drive us and everybody else crazy. I just look at today and say to myself, it just feels like we are becoming the world of the Kardashians and reality TV rules today. And I don't know if I want to be that. I don't, right? But I don't think we have much choice. I just don't. And it's sad. And now where does this go in the future when it comes to presidents and going after people that we don't like? That's a very fair question. So what happens in the future, right? In the future, when it comes to the president of the United States and somebody finds some unscrupulous things about them that they think, are we going to be doing this over and over again to satisfy our salacious appetite for the need for gossip? Speaking of America, Cory Booker, very interesting what he said the other day.
If you were in heaven around the time my father was born, even if you were a black guy like my dad, and you were going to pick a country to be born in, the United States would be at the top of your list because we were expanding middle class at a rate that there was creating opportunity. But now, if you're going to be born poor on the planet Earth, the United States of America is not going to be necessarily, if you're just looking to get out of poverty, if that's your only metric, this is not necessarily the top country if you're going to be born poor to get out.
Yes, it is. Absolutely it is. It is. It still is what it is. But you've got to fight the fight, right? How many times we talk about how much farther America has come, and not just America, but the globe when it comes to capitalism and all of these kind of things. But you've always got to talk about how much worse it is. Remember, our poor people have an obesity problem. Right? Everybody I know that supposedly is poverty-stricken or struggles paychecks to paychecks, they all have cars, they all have air conditioning, they all have cell phones, and the dream is there if they want it. It's how much can you dream and what are you willing to do for your dream is the thing I always ask over and over to people.
And that's actually an assault on the very idea of the American dream. And so I think we need to be the party of reclaiming the dream. Yes. We need to be party of reimagining this nation to create great pathways of prosperity. And this is just one of those bills that my team and I are sitting down and saying, okay, how is this being rigged? How are the rules changed? How can we address those changes?
Well, look, the rules are rigged, right? The rules are rigged. So what do? You do two things. The rules are rigged, but they will let you also rig the rules for yourself if you're willing to put in the time and effort to find out exactly what those rules are. But as a person who, look, I look at politics, but I look at life and I look at issues like this and I say to myself, this is the kind of thing where you have to build up that monster of evil. And that evil is everything is rigged against you. And that's what the Democrats always talk about. And we touched on it a bit yesterday when you got somebody like Bill Maher coming out and basically talking about how half the country, the flyover country, or a good majority of the flyover country is just full of idiots and morons who don't quite get it. And you all the while trying to court them. You've got to build that permanent underclass of voters to continue to vote for you, to talk about how you're going to champion for them. But have you ever noticed all the while very little gets done? Yeah, absolutely. America's still the place where a dream, and I think Zig Ziglar, who is a great spokesperson and teacher of business, used to say, the elevator for success is out of order, but the stairs are always open. And that's something you have to ask yourself. And Jack and I talk about it all the time. Success is what you make of it, not what somebody else does, what you make of it. And you're going to run into situations where it's not fair, it's not cool, people are treating you bad, whatever it is. And this coach doesn't like you or that person doesn't like you. But guess what? You can overcome those things. But it's how much do you want to overcome it? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. It is Kitty Litter 2.0. It is called Pretty Litter. It's amazing. I love my cat 3. If you guys don't know who 3 is, he's my cat that got shot, and we'd only had him a couple weeks, and he lost his leg. Well, we knew where it was. They just had to take it off. And I take care of him like you could not believe. That's why I got Pretty Litter. It's amazing. First and foremost, with a house full of lizards like I have, this huge place, it's an amazing house full of giant, huge reptiles, you would think, ooh, that's got to be stinky. It's not. It's the kitty litter that used to drive me crazy. It's the smell. It's awful. Well, guess what? With Pretty Litter, I got none of that. Yes, it can be messy. It can be nasty with all that stuff that you're taking in and out. But when you get Pretty Litter, it changes everything. You don't smell it anymore. You don't have to go to the pet store and buy these giant bags. It comes in this small bag that lasts you a month, and you're like, oh my goodness, how does that even work? Next level odor protection, which is awesome. So it's got these crystals, are super absorbent. And here's the thing I also love about it. Because I love my cat, it actually monitors your cat's health. I know that's weird, but it does. So it changes colors to detect underlying illnesses before urgent care, medical care is needed, which is amazing. It really is. It's incredible. And when you get to something early, let me tell you, as you guys all know who have animals, if you get it early, it saves you tons of money, stress, and potentially your cat's life. Do what I did. Make the switch to Pretty Litter today. Visit prettylitter.com. Use the promo code Chad. You're going to get 20% off your first order. And these bags are small and they last a month. And you're going to be shocked. You're like, what? That's Pretty Litter. Pretty litter.com. Promo code Chad. 20% off. Prettylitter.com. Promo code Chad. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say
what? When Dietrich McGowan saw members of the Greenville, South Carolina Girl Scouts shivering in the cold outside a store recently, he shelled out $540, bought all the cookies they were selling so that they could go inside. Mom Kayla Dillard shared the photo. It went viral. You know how that goes. Now for the rest of the story.
Now, remember, this is a good story. I'm about positivity. But I'm also about honesty. So if we left the story there, you wouldn't be getting the whole story. Yes, he did do that for the girls. But
McGowan is also known as Fat and is one of several suspects in an ongoing drug sting. He's accused of trafficking heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Those who sold him Thin Mints, Samoas, and Tagalongs say they had no reason to believe he was anything other than another of their valuable customers.
Look at that. That is just not fair. I can't even believe. Are you guys giving the money back? No, they're not giving the money back. It's cold. They sold them all. Have you bought cookies this year? I bought some cookies already. Some Girl Scout cookies. Do you ever walk into, because they're always in front of, the supermarket, the grocery store. You ever walk in and you peek down and you say, okay, they're down at the other end. I can't go out this end. I got to go out this end, because if I go down there, and then I'm like, and you feel horrible, right? You're like, no, kid, I want to buy you your crap. But I really do. But I don't need it. But yes, I have bought Girl Scout. I will not lie. I cannot tell a lie. I've bought them, and I've given them away. I didn't eat any of them. I'm not a Thin Mint guy either. I like the lemon Madoos or whatever they're called. I don't even know what they're called. I'm making stuff up now. Lemon Madoos? That's real. Say what?
The documentary Leaving Neverland details the story of two men who say they were molested by Michael Jackson when they were boys.
I love you.
The Jackson estate calls it lies. They're suing HBO, and Jackson fans are up in arms now after part 2 airs Monday night on HBO. Oprah will interview the men at the center of it, Wade Robeson and James Safechuck. HBO says the conversation was taped before an audience of sex abuse survivors. Part 1 of Leaving Neverland premieres Sunday night on HBO.
I have seen some of it, having been through what they went through, but not with somebody famous. It was awful. I've never understood the pass that Michael Jackson gets comparatively to everybody else. I have never understood that. They play his music. He paid out God knows how many millions of dollars. I've never in my life have ever understood that. I don't get it. I don't get it. And it is, if you have a chance, I've seen several, featurettes and things on this, and it looks extremely compelling. And they're suing for, I believe, $100 million HBO. Not because, and it's oddly enough, when you look at the lawsuit, it is not because they're disputing anything in there. They say, though, that HBO had a contract with them not to disparage Michael Jackson, even though this contract is really, really old. And that they feel this is disparaging by playing this. I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. One guy seems to blow every chance he has, Johnny Manziel.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Your decisions have consequences, folks. They just do. And with Johnny, he's had many chances to try and resurrect his career and get it back on track. And this one sounds like this might be the end of the road.
Yeah, by the sounds of it, he's done. Something happened that was a breach of contract with the Montreal Alouettes, and he is officially done in the CFL. In fact, no other team is even allowed to talk to him or sign him. And then you've got a guy like Colin Kaepernick who swears to God he wants to be back in the league, yet every time somebody offers him a potential lifeline for a guy who's been out of the NFL for 2 years, he turns it down. And he did it again because apparently he told the XFL, yeah, I'll play for you, but I want $20 million. That's a lot of dollars. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. They are talking tonight. They are getting down to nitty gritty tonight, which is late for us, early for them. It is going to be very interesting to see what takes place with Kim Jong-un and President Trump, especially after everything today, because that is going to be on top of the mind for a lot of people out there. And Trump is hoping to get something done that looks like there is some sort of progress in thy relationship.
We made a lot of progress, and I think the biggest progress was our relationship is really a good one.
It is. Well, it's got to be better than what's going on here. That's for damn sure. He's got a better relationship with Kim Jong-un than he does with his former attorney. Just think about that. Soak that in for a second. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter and your Instagram. You can grab the podcast at thechadshow.com or the TuneIn radio app. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I want to move forward with this hearing.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, this is a violation of the rule, and if it was not intentional, I would not have a problem. I'm not saying it was intentional on your part. I'm saying it's intentional on his part, because Mr. Dean, last night on a cable news network, actually made it all very evident. John Dean, and I'll quote, holding your statement as long as you can so the other side can't chew it up is important as well, close quote. Mr. Chairman, when you were in the minority, you wouldn't have stood for it, and I can tell you that we should not stand for it as a body.
Oh, that's before Cohen ever said a word. They couldn't even, it was, I understand what's going on. Mark Meadows, Jim Jordan, and a bunch of Republicans were angry because last night Cohen's attorney's out there. Everybody has got what Cohen's going to say, except for the Republicans, which is not the way it's supposed to be. They wanted to say, let's kick this thing down a few days and have a chance to go through all of this stuff. They weren't finished, right? Again, we have not even started yet. Talk about this. Cohen's just sitting there like, no, we haven't even started yet. We hadn't even started yet. Not even started, and they're already like, wow, 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 wow.
Chairman, I was asking to be recognized before the motion.
I recognize you.
Tabling the motion.
You know who had this material before all the members of the committee?
Excuse me.
CNN had it before we did. CNN had the exhibits before we did.
Yeah, well, the vote is on tabling the motion to postpone. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no.
No.
The ayes have it.
I appeal the ruling of the chair. Yes, I can assure you it's in the rules. I appeal the ruling of the chair.
Do the rules matter, Mr. Chairman?
No. They voted on whether or not the rules should matter, and that was a big no. No, they don't matter. Elijah Cummings like, so you don't want him to be heard? They're like, we never said that. We want to postpone it for a day or two, which they should do, just out of the fact that we have an issue here called North Korea and the United States of America having a summit trying to get nuclear weapons and try to stabilize a region that has a miniature madman who threatens everybody. But now, we move on. We move on with this. You shake your head. You shake your head. That's what you do. You shake your head. Now, remember this guy. His name is Michael Cohen. For those of you who don't know, because you've been living under a rock and sequestered under that rock for so long that you have no idea that Trump is president and that Michael Cohen is his former personal attorney, and at one time said things like this.
I will use my legal skills within which to protect Mr. Trump to the best of my ability. I protect Mr. Trump.
I will do anything to protect Mr. Trump. I'm obviously very loyal and very dedicated to Mr. Trump.
And now says things like this.
Mr. Trump is a cheat.
Oh, he is?
He is a racist.
Okay. Say cheat. He's a racist. Those are the things he says now. Before, he's like, I'd take a bullet for him. I'll do anything. In fact, I would take a bullet train for him. If a bullet train was coming at Trump, I would do everything in my powers to stop it. But no, not anymore. Not anymore. Here's what I would have done the minute I heard this today coming out of his mouth. Now, Russia was supposed to be off limits because the behind closed doors is Russia, Russia, Russia. This is about the people asking the questions more than it is about the person answering the questions, even though I think he's enjoying this because I can look at him and see that he looks like he's having fun. Stark contrast to, remember Christy Blasey Ford? Her hair's no, he looks like he's having a good time, right? Right? So this to me is where I'd have been, all right, we're done here.
Questions have been raised about whether I know of direct evidence that Mr. Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia. I do not.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But I have
not.
But I have.
But please don't.
But I have.
I don't care.
But I have. But I have. But I have.
Don't stop talking.
But I have.
Somebody taser him. That's it. Okay, we're moving on. Do I think he is an evil human being, Trump? No. I think he's a businessman that is a shucker and a jiver. I think he's a guy who is as much, they called him a con man. I think he's a salesman. I think he's a giant salesman, but on a scale because of the fact that he's dealing in hundreds of millions and billions of dollars that is insane. Do I think he's done things in the past that are ridiculous? Do I think he found a guy in Michael Cohen who was squirmy and weaselly and who wanted to be part of the in crowd? I want to be part of the band, man. I want to be part of the in crowd. You guys are doing fun stuff. Nobody ever takes me to the party. I'm always picked last. That's who this guy was. That's exactly who he was. He's the pick last guy. The pick last guy. You know who he reminds me of? Now, producer Phil, you've never seen this movie. It's called The 300. Remember The 300? You probably never saw it. It's a great movie. In the movie, there's a guy that wants to be part of The 300, right? But he's kind of deformed looking, and I'll say Michael, right? He's kind of hunchback. He's kind of creepy looking. And he wants to be part of it, right? Like he's like, I really want to be part of the 300. Like, let me, come on, And they're like, nah, you can't do all the stuff that we can do. And he's got like a hunchback and he's got a weird face. I want to be part of the 300. And they're like, no. You can't. You're not. Sorry. You just can't. You can't do it. Right? You can't. Right? You can't do it. Can't be a part of the 300. So what's he do? Because he's so desperate to be part of something, he goes over to Xerxes. He goes over to the bad guy who will give him everything he wants because he wants to be part of the team. He wants to be part of the in crowd. So that's what he was. When you listen to him talk here, you know exactly what it's about.
Being around Mr. Trump was intoxicating. When you were in his presence, you felt like you were involved in something greater than yourself, that you were somehow changing the world.
No. You wanted to be part of the cool stuff. You wanted to fly on a plane, and it's intoxicating. You ever flown on a private jet? It's pretty cool. Doesn't suck, by the way. Unless, of course, they crash, and then it like super sucks. But it doesn't, right? Hanging out with wealthy people, hanging out, getting the inside know that other people don't have, being able to have opportunities for you and your family at your fingertips, and like it does not suck. And and I guarantee you go back and you look, and I bet you find out he was picked last in just about everything. He was just, he is a hanger-on. And he was willing to do anything to have the opportunity. I was telling my friend the other day, you ever watch any of the vampire movies? They always have those people that can protect them in the daylight, right? Who want to be vampires. Like that's what he is. He's that guy, right? He's that guy that you just keep doing what we ask you to do, and one day you'll have a chance to be like us. It's like being in the mob. Like, yeah, you keep doing what we're doing, and one day we'll make you a made man. He wanted to be that. He wanted to be that. But in the end, he's just Michael Cohen. That's it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. So besides all of this stuff going on, there's another thing happening later tonight into tomorrow morning, but they're many hours ahead in Hanoi. That is part 2 of the summit.
I think this is very successful. Great relationship. I think they're going to be very successful. We look forward to it. We go for it. Have you walked back at all and used the vacation in North Korea? No. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Part 2 of the summit. And this is important. This other stuff today is salacious. What went on yesterday and what's going on tomorrow is more important when it comes to sussing all this stuff out with Russia collusion and all of these kind of things. But this here is also very important. You've got our president halfway around the globe getting ready to sit down with the madman who, along with his family for decades, has threatened the world, has thrown temper tantrums, and has nuclear weapons, and could easily unsettle the balance of power in that area with South Korea and being the buffer also between China and all of these things. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. And I can tell you tomorrow, most of the questions he gets will be very, very quick. Hey, did you guys feel it went well? Yeah. What do you think about Michael Cohen? What do you think about Michael Cohen? What do you think about Michael Cohen? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? He called you a racist, called you a liar, said you didn't love America, said it was just a giant infomercial, blah, 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 blah. That's why if I was Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows today, I said, can we not postpone this for 48 hours and do this on Friday? Can we not do that so we can get this done? And let the president do his thing over there, and then we can come back? One thing Trump talked about today when it comes to Lil Kim and North Korea.
I think that your country has tremendous economic potential, unbelievable, unlimited. And I think that you will have a tremendous future with your country, a great leader. And I look forward to watching it happen and helping it to happen.
Yeah, and when it comes to things like freedom and opening up things, capitalism will lead to freedom and democracy in a way that other things won't. And that's, you have, the tip of the spear isn't going to work with them. It's not. It is unsettling them to the point where you either break them, which we would have done a lot sooner had it not been for China and a few other rogue regimes that were willing to trade and do things with them and keep them afloat. But if we can overrun them with opportunities and freedom and economic opportunities, that in many ways will unsettle them, because you're not worried about, you don't want to blow the world up if everything's going good for you. So we'll see how that goes tonight. It's going to be very interesting. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Guys, you know what we are? We're terrible at taking care of our health. You know that. I know that. Right? You got a knee injury, a back injury. I raise my hand. Something worse. Right? We just rub a little dirt on it. We'll walk it off. Yeah, nah. All of us have been that way. You know it, right? Man up. Come on. The same is true for ED, erectile dysfunction. Studies show that 70% of guys experience ED don't get treated. Why? Well, they're embarrassed. But now there's Roman. And here's what they're doing. It's easy. It's amazing. You get to do everything online. Treated online for ED. How great is that? One-stop shop, licensed U.S. physicians. They can diagnose ED and ship medication right to your door. Guess what? No awkward face-to-face with the pharmacist. No weird conversations or any of those things. It's just simple. All you have to do is visit Roman.com, right? /Benson. You fill out a brief medical onboarding. You chat with a doctor, and an FDA-approved ED medicine is delivered straight to your door. Discreet, unmarked packaging. It's that simple. It is, right? Don't be the person that's afraid to talk about stuff or avoid situations. Deal with it. It's better for you, makes you happier, and this has never been simpler. Do it today. Free online visit. It's on me. Go to Roman.com/Benson. That's GetRoman.com/Benson. GetRoman.com/Benson. BENSON. Free online visit. GetRoman.com/Benson. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter, CHADBENSON. We got the roulette wheel of Cohen straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
A second check. This one to him for reimbursement for the Stormy Daniels payment, but this one signed by Donald Trump Jr. And also Alan Weisselberg, who was the CFO of the Trump organization. So we have one check. This one we have a picture of, signed by Donald Trump when he was president of the United States in August of 2017. And now we're learning that Cohen will also produce a second check signed by, among others, Donald Trump Jr., the president's son.
Oh, my God. And in the memo, it says, for Stormy Daniels to protect the gift. No, it doesn't say any of that. But was he the president's lawyer? Well, he was. Does he have a retainer? So can you absolutely prove, and those are the only two checks you've ever gotten from President Trump ever? Well, no, this is the issue with stuff like this, right? Like, he's on the Hill all day just yapping away. It's, if you like Trump, he's a scumbag, rat, bastard, liar, is Andy Cohen. Not Andy Cohen, which would be more entertaining than Michael Cohen. Wouldn't it? I think so. And if you don't like Trump, everything he's saying today is true. He only lied in other situations. Nothing is changing. You're not waking up and going, I thought about it overnight, and yeah, my mind's completely changed. It hasn't. Now, kids, it's time to play our favorite part of the day today. It is the Michael Cohen Roulette Wheel. Oh, let's see look where it landed.
Are you aware of any videotapes that may be the subject of extortion or blackmail?
I've heard about these tapes for a long time. I've had many people contact me over the years. I have no reason to believe that tape exists.
You know what tape we're talking about? The P tape. Yeah, that's the one right there. That's what they're talking about. That's exactly what they're talking about. That there tape. Yes. That's what they're talking about. That tape. Yes, that tape. Oh, my God. But he doesn't know. Doesn't know. I wonder if he's getting everything. Because remember, he's like Roger Stone trying to build up cachet of people who are sympathetic to him, so they'll throw him money. I don't know if that to be true. I don't know if that's happening with him. I don't know if anybody's sympathetic to any of Cohen's needs or wants or any of that stuff. So who knows? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from each and every single one of you. What do you think as you listen to some of this stuff today? As you hear it, I feel like we've jumped the shark as a country when it comes to our politics, that we've now crossed that threshold of appealing to the lowest common denominator with salaciousness and insanity. And I don't know if we're really moving the ball forward in this country. I think the things that should play out behind closed doors are more important than this. And I think this is more about photo ops. And it's just, it feels like afterwards, I think we need to go take a shower and just wash all this stuff off. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. She was on Tinder, and then they took her off. Wait till you hear why. And then wait till you hear what somebody did. Oh, my Lord. Just insane. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
When Dietrich McGowan saw members of the Greenville, South Carolina Girl Scouts shivering in the cold outside a store recently, he shelled out $540, bought all the cookies they were selling so that they could go inside. Mom Kayla Dillard shared the photo. It went viral. You know how that goes. Now for the rest of the story. McGowan is also known as Fat and is one of several suspects in an ongoing drug sting. He's accused of trafficking heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Those who sold him Thin Mints, Samoas, and Tagalongs say they had no reason to believe he was anything other than another of their valuable customers.
I hate it when good stories go wrong. That was a good story, and it's gone south because it was a great... He's smiling all the while. You draw the parallels with Trump, right? The person you think you know is not that person. The person who did good is not that person. The person who's doing good is only doing good to cover up the evil. Now back to Cohen Roulette. Oh, look at this one here. Cohen Roulette is a game we're playing where we're just spinning the wheel and we're finding out where it lands, and where it lands is here.
The president clearly, I think, as a result of Mr. Cohen's testimony, engaged in illegal, corrupt, intentional, and deceptive practices and statements in order to cover up the facts that clearly connect him and his campaign and his family to Russians' efforts to help him become president.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who grilled Cohen earlier in the day. It's all things Cohen, right? So we're coming up. We're coming up there with her. Isn't it amazing that she's even asking questions? Hey, do you remember that time when Bernie was running for president, the same time Trump was, and then he was going up against Hillary, and then we rigged it, and then even when I left, that we rigged it even more because Donna Brazil's like, here's some of the questions and answers that here's what you should say, and I'm going to ask Bernie, spelling questions. You're like, what? Yeah. That right there makes me laugh. How dare you? Who do you think you are? Debbie Wasserman Schultz? So imagine this, right? Dating in the age of apps and whatnot. And there's a swipe right, swipe left app. We'll call that Tinder. Well, a woman, semi-attractive woman, was on there. And guess what?
Within kind of a few hours, I was banned from the platform.
On the dating app Tinder, users swipe left to pass on potential matches and swipe right when they like what they see.
One Tinder user we're identifying only by her first name, Nicole, suddenly found she couldn't swipe any direction while on vacation in San Francisco from Vermont.
They responded and said I had violated their terms of service and their community guidelines.
She suspects her profile photos may have offended some Tinder users in the Bay Area. For Nicole, hunting is a family affair, and these were the two images on her profile.
Yes, so there are two images of her with dead deer. I think one's like her brother, and then, so there's dead deer. There's nothing graphic. They're not chopping its head off or anything like that. And I maybe would have chose something else, right? It's nice that you can field dress some of these things, but I mean, and you're in San Francisco, kind of learn. But it is, she was like, wow, I can't believe that I can't do this. And, oh, kids, don't worry. It's just getting started.
I cropped it in a way that there were no weapons or any kind of blood showing. My family, we're not trophy hunters. We hunt for food. We respect the animal.
Not only was she permanently banned from the app, a user from San Francisco took his complaint one step further.
An individual had emailed my employer with, screenshots of my profile and saying some not nice things.
Yeah, think about that. You've done nothing illegal. You've done absolutely nothing wrong. And they're like, well, I don't like that, so I'm going to take it upon myself to send this to your employer so they know. First of all, chances are if she's in Vermont, her employer is probably also in Vermont. Secondly, if they're in Vermont, chances are they too may hunt or own a gun. So, and if you're eating your meat that way, then at least you're doing it in a way that, quite frankly, is a very hipster way to do it nowadays. But, you're doing it real, right? You're doing it real. You're going out and you're doing it real. Now, why this is very interesting is because, remember, she doesn't have any guns. She's posing with just two is cropped, or you can see the animals. That's it. Here's the thing, though. She and he comparatively.
Plenty of images of men posing with their hunted animals, making provocative gestures, and more. It appears none of them has been reported for violating Tinder's standards.
It's really about this double standard that exists.
We reached out to Tinder, and a spokesperson sent us a statement saying, in part, we have a team dedicated to investigating each report.
Yeah. She just wants equality. That's what she said. So other people are doing it. And that's what frustrates it. Like, take Tinder out of the equation, right? Just put Facebook, put Twitter, put Instagram, any of these things. That's the frustration is like when I got suspended like last week off Facebook for a week for something that was like 18 months old. It's the randomness. And it only takes one person to say, I think some of these things, you should have to have multiple, depending on the size of the audience you have. If you've got 10 people and a person complains or two people complain, you can probably say, maybe we should do something. If you've got 1 million people and one person complains, does that million have to listen to the one person? And we have to do this. You have, in the randomness of it all, it frustrates a lot of people. It does. It absolutely does. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We are playing Michael Cohen Roulette today. That's where we spin the wheel, throw in the ball, and see where it lands.
Oh. I've talked to the president over 300 times. I've not heard one time a racist comment out of his mouth in private. So how do you reconcile it? Do you have proof of those conversations?
I would ask you to.
Do you have tape recordings of those conversations?
No, sir.
Mark Meadows and Michael Cohen. Do you have proof? Do you have proof of that at all? Do you have proof, Michael Cohen? Do you? Is Trump a nice guy?
Are you saying that all the reports that you were paid, in some estimates over $4 million, to have access and understanding of the Trump administration, you're saying that all of that was just paid to you just because you're a nice guy?
Well, I am a nice guy, but more importantly,
I would beg to differ. The record reflects that you're not a nice guy.
Trump's a nice guy and gave you $4 million, or you're a nice guy and he's a jerk. Got to figure it out, guys. Got to come together. got to come together. All the while, Trump is eating and hanging out with Kim Jong-un. Apparently, they had a little surf and turf today as they get ready to have summit number 2. Summit number 2, which will be very interesting to see how this plays itself out tonight. I don't know how it's going to play itself out because while all this is going on, Trump is sitting there watching this, apparently fuming at all of these things. And because that's what he does, he lets it eat him up inside. You knew this was coming. And I don't think it was the right time to do it. I think if you wanted to hear it, I have zero problems with that. I think you could have done it at a better time when Trump wasn't in a situation like this. And it's much easier to reschedule Michael Cohen, as we've done on several occasions, than it is this entire dog and pony show. Because think about this, little Kim Jong-un, he didn't fly there. He took a train, right? He'd borrow a train and a car. And, it's so they could have done this in a better way as far as the timing went. That was just my assessment on this, because I think what they're talking about is far more important than the salaciousness and the arguments and the grandstanding and politically that's going on today at the Hill.
We made a lot of progress, and I think the biggest progress was our relationship is really a good one.
It's a good one. We're in love. I don't know if we're going to adopt, but there's a possibility. You don't know. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Oh, my goodness. So insane. We've jumped the shark. If you look at our political world that we're in right now, right? Look at our political world that we're in right now. So what do we have? We have Donald Trump, who was a playboy, millionaire, then billionaire, who dominated the back pages of all the New York papers, right? Right? He dominated those for years. He's had plenty of torrid affairs. He's had really some ups and downs in business. He then became more solidified in business. He grew his brand. On top of that, he then decided to become more vocal over the years. Then he got a hit TV show, and from the hit TV show, he said, hey, I'm going to run for president. Lo and behold, he's president of the United States. You've got this stuff going on with his hanger-on. We were talking earlier, we're trying to compare who Michael Cohen is. And I said, well, he's like a vampire who always has somebody who watches his back, or is like a hanger-on. And I remember the movie Blade. Somebody's like daywalkers or familiars. They get little tattoos because they want to be vampires. It's like an apprentice. And that's kind of what this guy is. And watching all of these things and the way that we've done stuff over the last, 36 months, and the way that we've handled politics, we've jumped the shark as Americans. We've jumped the shark. We have. We got to do better. I look around and said, we've got to do better than this. This is just ridiculous. It really, really is. It is. And have you learned anything today? That's what I want to know from you. Has anybody learned anything today that is changing your mind on Trump? Cohen? I've learned absolutely nothing. And when he was asked or offered up the most important piece, right, the most important piece of all of this stuff, which was about Russian collusion, even though they weren't really supposed to talk about it, but in kind of a roundabout way, he said this.
Questions have been raised about whether I know of direct evidence that Mr. Trump or his campaign colluded with Russia. I do not. And I want to be clear.
No, that's all we need you to say. That's it.
But I have.
Nope, don't care.
But I have.
Shh.
But I have.
Stop talking.
But I have.
Stop talking.
But I have.
Arrest him. Oh, he's already been arrested? All right, there you go. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. By the way, he went on to say this.
But I.
Shh, be quiet.
But I have my suspicions.
Doesn't count. Suspicions. My hunches and suspicions don't count. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Blink is amazing. White House should get Blink, right? Cameras, like good cameras, not the cameras they have. It's the White, it's the government. The cameras probably don't work. You Blink, put them all over. You got motion activated cameras, right? They got the Blink smartphone app. You can go on there. You can download it so you get live feed option. And these cameras they have are incredible. The camera system, it's the Blink Outdoor XT camera system. Right now, they got a great thing. It's 20% off. Let me tell you something. I love it. I've got them for outside, and I've got my cameras on the inside so I can see. I call it the Winston cam because Winnie's always wandering around. I can go and check. I was like, oh, he's moving around. He's doing something. Usually getting into no good. If you guys don't know who Winston is, he's my ginormous lizard. He's awesome. So, why would you get Blink Home Security? First of all, you want to know if something's going on outside your house. Somebody casing the joint. Because when they're inside, it's too late. Right? Also, in a day and age when we get so many things delivered, do you trust that your stuff's not going to get taken? Not anymore. That's where Blink comes in. It is awesome. So easy to use. Motion-activated indoor and outdoor cameras. Wire-free, set up in minutes. No subscription. 2 lithium batteries run up to 2 years. Boom. Here's what they're doing right now for my listeners. Blink's Outdoor XT camera systems. Impressive, incredible, awesome. They're 20% off right now. Boom. Hurry, though. Sale ends March 16th at midnight Eastern. Visit blinkprotect.com/sale. 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 Blink is an Amazon company, and guess what? It works with Alexa. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Feel free to punk this punk rocker any time of the day or night. Reach Chad on Twitter at Chad Benson Show and on Instagram at Chad Benson Show. And oh yeah, the Chad Benson Show on Facebook too. Punk that.
It's great to be with you. We had a very successful first summit. I felt it was very successful. And some people would like to see it go quicker. I'm satisfied. You're satisfied.
Think about this for just a second. The President of the United States is having a better day hanging out with a despot that has killed people using anti-aircraft guns, flamethrowers, and wild dogs than with his own former personal attorney. Jump the shark. Jump the shark. Let's do it one more time, kids, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends of all ages. Shall we? Everybody sit back. We call this, we've been doing it all day, why stop here, right? It is our new favorite thing. It is the wheel of Michael Cohen. Ah, look where it lands here.
It has to do with your claim of racism. She says that as a daughter of a man born in Birmingham, Alabama, that there is no way that she would work for an individual who was racist. How do you reconcile the two of those, Mr.
As neither should I, as the son of a Holocaust survivor.
Yes, but you called Trump a racist. You called him a lot of things today, Michael.
Mr. Trump is a cheat.
A cheat. He's a cheat. He's a racist. He's all of those things. But did it change anybody's mind today? I do not think it did change anybody's mind. I think if you thought Trump was Trump, you recognize that you still believe that. And a lot of people who believe and support Trump also know that he's a lot of the things that Michael Cohen is saying today. And if you hope that there's some sort of smoking gun that is going to take him down, that today was the day, chances are it's more salacious and embarrassment than it is criminal. And because of that, business as usual. That's what you're going to get. Business as usual. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. So today, and I'll post a picture in a little while, I went to the gym this morning. Right, because I got a long day. I'm doing a ton of shows. So I go to the gym and I want to get a workout in, right? And I go and I get a workout in. And in the middle of, showering and changing, they scream, "Woman coming in." I thought, well, that's weird. And sure enough, 2 women come in to clean the men's locker room. And they put up a little sign that says "Woman Inside." And people are walking around. Some people are coming in and out of like the sweat box thingy, and they're naked. And it's just, and I thought to myself, my God, will that happen on the woman's side? Probably not. But it was just so surreal. I didn't mind it. I just thought it was just an odd thing. I'm like, this is a big gym franchise. There's no other people that can do this. It's weird. Again, weird. But it's a weird day, right? It's a weird day. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Here's your useless information of the day. In 1980, Detroit gave the key to the city to one Saddam Hussein. We've been jumping the shark for a long time. Have a good rest of your day. As always, night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.